Hey everybody, this is Douglas V. Gibbs, Constitution Study TV. Let's talk about Medicare for all. I hate the fact that they call it that. Socialized medicine is what it is. Universal, medicine. It is, in other words, a Marxist socialist idea that government controls all of medicine. They pay for it, so on and so forth. Why would you want a group of people who you swear up and down are a bunch of crooks and are corrupt to run your health care? First of all, I was watching a video of Joe Biden, and Joe Biden says, well, if it's a right as I believe it's a right. Well, let's stop right there. Do you have a right to health care? Is Medicare for all a right? Well, let's go back to the Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You have a right to life, you have a right to liberty, and you have a right to pursue your happiness. You have a right to be happy. So do you have a right to health care? No, but you do have a right to pursue it. First of all. Second of all, it comes down really about choice. Ultimately, isn't that what liberty is about? Isn't liberty about choice? They claim, when I say they, those who support Medicare for all, they believe in liberty too. They believe in free choice and da-da-da-da. But don't you take away all of the choices when you go into a socialized medicine situation. Never mind the fact that there's nothing in the Constitution that gives the federal government any authority over health issues, health care, health insurance, nothing. So first of all, it's unconstitutional. First of all, federal government has no authority anywhere. First 7 articles, any of the amendments, there's no authority for the federal government to get involved in health care, health insurance, any of that. That's on the table there. Second of all, it's more costly in the long run. It allows government to ration your choices, ration your health care. I remember in 2007 when I had a radio program on Blog Talk Radio, and I had a listener who was from Toronto, Canada, and she had called in. And we got talking about it. She says, well, when we first started healthcare for all here in Canada, she says, it was fine. You go to the doctor, take care of things, and then after a few years, the government began to realize there were certain things it just could not afford to cover. So it stopped covering those things. Or they decided they didn't want to cover them because, they're people's own dang fault or whatever. So if you wanted to get really full coverage, you no longer could depend on just your universal health care, your socialized health medicine. You would have to get supplemental insurance. And we figured it out, and at the time I was paying close to $700 a month for my healthcare through the construction company I was working for, and pretty good PPO. And she figured out what she was paying additionally in taxes and what she was paying for her supplemental insurance, and her free healthcare was more expensive than my private healthcare. So, the old joke, you think health insurance and healthcare is expensive now, wait until it's free. The other thing is this. If I don't like my PPO, or if I don't like my HMO, or if I don't like whoever it is that is running my healthcare system, I can leave. Go get another plan. I've got a choice. I've got Kaiser. If I wanted to go to Kaiser, I can go to, Blue Cross. I can go to Health Net. And, there's just this ongoing list, and it goes on and on and on and on. I have a choice. And if one is less expensive or one has better service, then I can go to that one. How much choice do you have if you go to Medicare for all? What if it turns out to be lousy? And you say, oh, you know what? I don't want this anymore. I'm going to go to... No, it's gone. So, when it comes to liberty, Medicare for all actually kills your choices. Well, Doug, it's going to be wonderful. Well, how do you know? And what if it isn't? You don't have a choice to leave it. It's all, you're either all in or you're not. The choice goes out the window. Isn't liberty about choice? Doesn't the left always talk about choice? I should have the choice of being a boy or a girl or 64 other possibilities. But you don't want to have choice on your health care? You just want government to control everything and there's no choice? I should have a choice of who I marry. I'm told by the left all the time, I can marry a boy or a girl or one of the other 64 possibilities. But I can't have a choice on my health care? That's ridiculous. You talk about a woman's choice when it comes to murdering her babies, but you don't have a choice on health care? Government takes it over and that's it. That's your only choice. So those of you who support the idea of Medicare for all, aside from the fact that it's unconstitutional, think about the fact that you lose your choice. You lose all choice. And I thought the Democrat Party was all about choice. And then they said, well, the Republicans have to come up with an alternative. Not necessarily. It's unconstitutional. Unfortunately, the GOP hasn't figured that out yet. So I'm not really, when it comes to this topic, having a lot of faith in them either. When they were talking Obamacare during the campaign, they kept saying repeal and replace. I said, no, repeal. There should be no replace. There's no constitutional authority for replace. Anyway, it all comes down to one thing. Number one, two things. Constitutionality, number one. And number two, choice. Is liberty truly something that works with socialized medicine, Medicare for all? Or is it taking away liberty? Is it giving all of your health choices to government, putting it in the hands of people who are not considering your best interest? And down the road, when things get expensive, they decide not to cover certain things that you might need. And then off you go to buy your supplemental insurance. Higher taxes, supplemental insurance, guess what? It winds up costing more than the free market system. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not love insurance companies. I don't like the idea of a third party. I would rather go back to a patient-provider relationship. If the provider has to compete for your dollars, the provider is going to keep the price as low as possible and give as much quality as possible. Whether or not we'll ever be able to get back to that dynamic, I don't know. But heading in the opposite direction towards government control of it, Medicare for all, that's not the right direction. That's the worst direction. But hey, if you think government's so wonderful, they do such a good job, then I'm sure you love the IRS and DMV and CPS and all of those agencies too, right? Because government can do no wrong, right? Thanks for watching. My name is Douglas V. Gibbs, Constitution Study TV, politicalpistachio.com, douglasvgibbs.com, and stay safe, stay patriotic, and of course, stay constitutional. We'll see you next time.